It's been a while since I have done a live broadcast of my meditation practice. Um, but the recent passing of Zen Master Wonji Dharma has had me contemplating life, death, and permanence. Um, the roles of people in the Sangha. Um, and so I wanted to share some of those thoughts with you tonight and record my practice with you. I know not many people watch, um, but maybe there's something in here for someone who does. So, as I do each night, I will begin by paying homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I want to start by apologizing for the sound tonight. I'm not sure how well it's going to come out. Um, my lapel mic that I bought doesn't seem to be working well. Not sure if I dropped it or my Linux upgraded and it didn't keep up with the drivers, but um, yeah, it doesn't seem to be working well. So I'm stuck with my built-in microphone here, and I hope it will turn out okay. So I wanted to start off by talking just a little bit about the passing of Zen Master Wonji Dharma. Um, Wonji was the founder of the Five Mountains Zen Order, of which I am a member. And in 2016, in this picture here, I took refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha under Venerable Wonji Dharma. Here's Wonji right here, third from the left in the center row. And again, he was the founder of the Five Mountains Zen Order. He was, in many ways, the Five Mountains Zen Order. He founded Five Mountain with the intent of making Zen available to people regardless of where they were, over the internet, through local chapters, through studying through Buddha Dharma University, which was an online university that he more or less founded after having taken the name from one of his predecessors in California. Wonji was a lot like me. Always right, never soft spoken. And he and I butted heads more than a few times, I would say, personality wise. Not anything substantial, of course. But it took me a long time to accept what a good man he really was, and what he really strived to do for this Mahasangha that he was creating in Five Mountain Zen, for the students that he taught, and what he tried to teach us. um, so as long as I've known him, he'd been in poor health, overweight, unhealthy. So his passing didn't come as a big surprise to me. But I was, I guess the only word is I was saddened to hear of his passing, and kind of what it would mean to Five Mountain. And I immediately started thinking of what happened when the Buddha passed, and what happened when Mahamoggallana and Shariputra had passed. And I found in the story of Shariputra's passing a great example. Those of you who know me know that I have studied the Pali Canon fairly extensively, and that's what I turn to when I look for guidance from the words of the Buddha. And there was a sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya, uh, 47.13, which is book 47, the 13th sutta, um, which is about the passing of Shariputra and how that affected Ananda, who loved him and had looked to him as a teacher. So I want to share that with you now. I'm going to share the whole sutra with you. I'll read it to you. I love this. I think it is spot on for a lot of people who knew Wonji. Um, and I really, I find it to be so applicable to what Five Mountain Zen now faces um, with Wanji's passing. Uh, and I know, because I have a great teacher in Five Mountain Zen, um, that there is heartwood there. And so I want to share this with you here. And so this is called the Cunda Sutta, or you see here in English, with Cunda. Cunda was actually a younger brother of Shariputra. And there are some things here that don't get well translated. One, they called Cunda the novice Cunda. There were a number of Chundas. And so the word novice Cunda became applied to this particular younger brother of Shariputra, even long after he was fully ordained. They still called him the novice Chunda. Um, it doesn't translate well into English because it sounds like he's still a novice rather than that being a name. Um, but it was just a name that they gave him, a nickname. So it goes like this. At one time, the Buddha was staying near Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's monastery. At that time, Venerable Shariputra was staying in the Magadhan lands near the little village of Nalaka. And he was sick, suffering gravely ill, and the novice Chunda was his carer. Again, Chunda was his younger brother. Then Venerable Shariputra in Pali, became fully extinguished because of that sickness. Then Chunda took Shariputra's bowl and robes and set forth for Savatthi. He went to see Venerable Ananda at Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's monastery, bowed, sat down to one side, and said to him, Sir, Venerable Shariputra has become fully extinguished. This is his bowl and his robe. Reverend Chunda, we should see the Buddha about this matter. Come, let us go to the Buddha and inform him about this. Yes, sir, replied Chunda. Then Ananda and Chunda went to the Buddha, bowed, and sat down to one side, and said to him, Sir, the novice Chuta says that Venerable Shariputra has become fully extinguished. This is his bowl and robe. Since I heard this, my body feels like it's drugged. I'm disoriented, and the teachings don't spring to mind. Well, Ananda, when Shariputra became fully extinguished, did he take away your entire spectrum of ethical conduct, of immersion, of wisdom, of freedom, or of the knowledge and vision of freedom? No, sir, he did not. But Venerable Shariputra was Venerable Shariputra was my advisor and counselor. He educated, encouraged, fired up, and inspired me. He never tired of teaching the Dhamma, and he supported his spiritual companions. I remember the nectar of the teaching, the richest of this teaching, the support of the teaching given by Venerable Shariputra. Ananda, did I not prepare for this when I explained that we must be parted and separated from all that we hold dear and beloved? How could it be? How could it possibly be so that what is born, created, conditioned, and liable to fall apart should not fall apart? That is not possible. Suppose there was a large tree standing with heartwood, and the largest branch fell off. In the same way, in the great Sangha that stands with heartwood, Shariputra has become fully extinguished. How could it possibly be so that what is born, created, conditioned, and liable to fall apart should not fall apart? That is not possible. So, Ananda, live as your own island, your own refuge, with no other refuge. Let the teaching be your island and your refuge, with no other refuge. And how does a mendicant do this? It is when a mendicant meditates by observing an aspect of the body, keen, aware, and mindful, rid of desire and aversion for the world. They meditate observing an aspect of feelings, mind, principles, keen, aware, and mindful, rid of desire and aversion for the world. That's how a mendicant lives as their own island, their own refuge, with no other refuge. That is how the teaching is their island and their refuge, with no other refuge. Whether now or after I have passed, any who shall live as their own island, their own refuge, with no other refuge, with the teaching as their island and their refuge, with no other refuge, those mendicants of mine who want to train shall be among the best of the best. I love this sutta, and I think it is spot on about how many people in Five Mountains Zen Order felt about um, Venerable Wonji Dharma. And this paragraph here, when Ananda says, speaking to the Buddha, Sir, the novice Chunda says that Venerable Shariputra has become fully extinguished. This is his bowl and his robe. Since I heard this, my body feels like it's drugged. I'm disorientated, and the teachings don't spring to mind. I know a lot of people in Five Mountains and felt that way. Because just as Shariputra was to Ananda, just as Shariputra was to Ananda, the Venerable Wonji Dharma was to many in Five Mountain, my advisor and counselor. He educated, encouraged, fired up, and inspired me. He never tired of teaching the Dhamma. He supported his spiritual companions. That's what he did for Five Mountain. He did that for many people in Five Mountain who were his students. I was rarely his first line student, only in a few instances. My teacher, Zen Master Myodo, was one of these kind of students, as Ananda was to Shariputra, and many others were. And Wonji will be missed, just as Shariputra was missed. But just as the Dhamma in the days of Shariputra and the Sangha, the great Sangha, was built with great heartwood, so is Five Mountains Zen Order. So here in this paragraph, I think is most telling. Suppose there was a large tree standing with heartwood, and the largest branch fell off. Wonji. In the same way, the great Sangha that stands with heartwood, Shariputra, has become fully extinguished. The heartwood's still there. Just a great branch fell off. And the Sangha will continue. That's the real gist of what I wanted to share with you tonight. That 5 months in will continue. Wonji was its heart and soul for a long time, but there are many heirs, and there are many Zen masters created under him who have taken the reins. Richard Sears will lead us for now, and Five Mountains Zen will continue to spread the Dharma, and spread the teachings of Zen throughout the United States and into Mexico as well. Of that I am assured, and I feel at ease. So I hope that the Cunda Sutta and the Samyutta Nikaya is of some value to Five Mountains Zen, to the great Mahasangha Five Mountains Zen, and that they understood that heartwood is still there in the Sangha. We all know it. I know it. I trained under a great Zen master, and she was Wonji's student for many years. So I am rest assured that this is not a problem. Yeah. So with that, though, it is traditional that chanting Du Guanyin or Kwanseum Bosal is done on the passing of a Zen master. And those of you who've watched me in the past know that I really enjoy this particular chanting on insight meditation. And so we're going to share that one now, the Kwanseum Bosal chanting.
사바하 보양진언
So thank you guys for participating in that with me. I dedicate that wholly to Wonji and his path, uh, wherever it leads him after this lifetime. So I do hope that he finds his ultimate nibbana in his path towards ultimate liberation. I do have a cough, and some of you may have seen me coughing a little bit during that. So I'm going to end it tonight with the reading of the Bodhicitta prayer uh, and dedicate this to Wanji. He is certainly to be greatly missed in Five Mountain Zen Order, but he leaves behind a great legacy of an organization uniquely American, and yet strongly Zen Buddhist. And it's a good thing. And I am happy to be a part of it. So, again, as we do each night, we will end with the reading of the Bodhicitta prayer. And so, yes, if you join with me. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. Thank you guys, and I hope to see you online again soon. Good night.